On our second to last day in Taipei, we decided to check out the Chiang Kai Shek Memorial in the morning. So here we are grabbing a breakfast in Ximending just before that. For some early breakfast, we decided to get some flour rice noodle place that was pretty famous and right next to our hotel. There's normally a huge queue, but since we came early, we were able to get noodles pretty quickly. I liked it. It was a pretty light meal overall. It wasn't too greasy, just like a nice thicker broth of soup with noodles. As you can see, Ximending is pretty quiet during the day. It's a big contrast at night when it gets much more lively and busier, so it's kind of nice in the morning to just take a relaxing stroll through the empty streets. If you'd like to see it at night, we do have our first video in Ximending which shows that, and also a few more videos which I think go into Ximending at night. We were just wandering through some of the back alleys and saw some interesting restaurants here. Today we were just trying to get a traditional Taipei or Taiwan breakfast. There are quite a few places that offer a big menu. They have some, fries, some burgers, some traditional Taiwanese snacks as well, and we settled on this place. The menu is pretty extensive. It has both Taiwanese favorites and then some Western style dishes as well. And it also has, of course, some milk tea. As you can see, the shop is pretty small. It was just on a street corner near Ximending. I ended up grabbing a soy milk for breakfast along with a breakfast burger as well. You can see it has some eggs and then likely some chicken here. After breakfast, we decided to check out this street called America Street near our hotel. I'm not sure why it's called America Street. It has a few jazz-looking bars and restaurants, so maybe that's it. If you know, let me know below. After that, we headed back towards Ximending. You can see a few more stores are open here, and people are waiting at this bubble tea place that we had on the first day. It always has a line, and I'd recommend going early to anything here if you want to get something quicker. So here we are again at a convenience store. My girlfriend is just getting some iced coffee. Pretty sure we didn't go a day without going into a convenience store at least once during this trip. Originally we were supposed to ride our bikes in the morning, but we changed our plans and decided to fit in Chiang Kai Shek Memorial today. I've been there around 6 or 7 years ago, but my girlfriend hadn't been there yet, and I think it is a must-see in Taipei. While we did take an Uber, it's on a direct line from Ximending, so if you aren't in a huge rush for time, I'd recommend just taking the MRT towards the Chiang Kai Shek Memorial. Passing by this area, you'll see a lot of Taipei's government buildings, and just for background, Chiang Kai Shek, who the memorial that we're going to see is named after, is the first leader of the Republic of China, which is modern-day Taiwan. So the blue gate over there is the first signs of the memorial. It's a fairly large memorial grounds, and you'll have to drive around to find the entrance. So this is one of the entrances to the memorial itself. You'll see these three arches. It's actually the side gate because the main gate is actually on the right side. It's much more impressive, but this is closer to the memorial itself. In the center itself is the main memorial building, and as we'll see in a second, it's a huge building inside. It also has the changing of the guards ceremony, which this place is famous for. You can see the modern landscape of Taipei in the background, so it's kind of surrounded by these modern buildings and then a forest or trees surrounding the main building itself. So inside the building you'll see a few memorial exhibits and an entire museum dedicated to the life of Chiang Kai Shek and then also the founding of Taiwan. One of the coolest exhibits was the two cars that Chiang Kai Shek had used. Interestingly, these cars were actually donated by overseas Chinese in the Philippines, according to the placard here. They're really large by modern standards. You can see it's like a tank. Modern cars are smaller, I think due to road regulations, and back then maybe they weren't as strict. Going through the exhibit, you'll see a few key documents and artifacts from Chiang Kai Shek's life, and also some key parts of Taiwan's history. What was crazy is how many famous historical people he had met, like Gandhi in the picture above. Pretty sure some of the pictures featured Mao Zedong, also Dwight D. Eisenhower, Winston Churchill, Franklin D. Roosevelt. So basically around this area, especially during World War II, there were a lot of famous figures in American and world history, and Chiang Kai Shek had photos with quite a few of them. And of course he's famous on his own right and a very important figure in history as well. You can see some clothes that he used to wear that are preserved here, and how he had different fashions based on not just the time but also the seasons. It's interesting kind of looking at his outfits that he kind of prioritized comfort, it seemed, according to some of the placards over time. And they were, comfortable clothes and practical clothes for what he had to do. They also had a replica of his office, so this is similar to something like the Oval Office in the White House for American presidents. The life-size photo gives an idea of what his day might have looked like just walking through the halls of the government buildings. There was much more to the indoor museum, but we were here also for the changing of the guard ceremony, and it had just about to start, so we made our way up to the top of the memorial. At the top you'll see a massive statue of Chiang Kai Shek sitting down. It reminds me a bit of the Lincoln Memorial if you've ever been to Washington, D.C. So this is the start of the changing of the guard ceremony. You've probably seen it on YouTube if you ever looked up the Chiang Kai Shek Memorial, and I won't feature the entire ceremony, but you can see how it starts and then also how it ends from this video. So in total there are 5 guards. There are 2 guards that are on duty and standing on those platforms, and then there are 2 relief guards who will take their place. You can see here they do a elaborate ceremony with the rifles before actually taking the place of the guards. And it ends with the new guards taking the place of the previous guards on the platforms, and they remain there until the next changing of the guards ceremony. The entire ceremony takes around 15 minutes, and it happens every hour. The guards themselves have to stand perfectly still, so I'd imagine it's a welcome relief once they get to move and get out of the pedestal. This area is the front of the memorial and the main kind of entrance that you normally should go to. And you can see there's a lot of people taking pictures here. You can see on the right there's a guy with 2 parrots on his shoulders, and then to my surprise there's a whole bunch of parrots here, and they can actually just fly around the memorial. It's really impressive. They're impressive, majestic birds if you've ever seen them fly, almost like modern day dragons. So this ends the first part of our 4th day in Taipei. After this, we take a break here at the memorial and then head towards our next destination.